Hello, my fellow Russian voters. How are you doing today? We got some news here out of Breitbart.com entitled Report Sweden reopens Julian Assange rape case. Now, I'm not 100% familiar with all this, but this kind of stuff looks fishy to me. For if it had to be reopened, that seems fishy to me. We did a different video about him not too long ago. It seemed there were several things rather fast, so I'm just trying to catch up on the news. The country of Sweden has reportedly reopened a preliminary investigation into accusations of rape brought against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Yeah, my take on this is that it just looks like this guy's being thrown under the bus. So, to reopen the case, wouldn't you have to have like some gigantic bit of evidence, new evidence brought forth or something? Otherwise, it sounds to me rather fishy. TechCrunch reports that Sweden plans to issue a European arrest warrant for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange over accusations of rape brought against him in 2010. The Swedish government will also be issuing a detention order to Uppsala District Court due to the fact that the alleged crime was said to have taken place in Enköping municipality. Previous investigations into the claims were dropped after Assange fled to the Ecuadorian embassy in London, England in 2012. Okay. Recently, Assange was removed from the embassy for extradition to the U.S. under charges of conspiracy with Chelsea Manning in 2010. There was a second allegation of rape made against Assange by another Swedish woman, but this case could not be reopened due to a legal time limit on the case, which had expired. So Alright, so there was the first one. He got in there. He had the embassy stay. They drop it because they can't do anything if he's in there, I guess. So now that he's out, they reopen it, is what I'm getting from this. And then with there being a second one, the time limit ran out. So maybe statute of limitations or some other contingency. Well, at least that's good for him that the second one is dropped. It's not horrible to ask questions. So, considering Crooked H laughed about or said about droning this guy, I have the tendency to side with this guy, considering she said that and laughed or something in a video. So not on a basis of justice as far as I'm concerned. And I think the other case, which was talked about in the other video, which said the maximum would be the U.S. killing him, death penalty. And I think I've heard a little bit of both sides on it. Probably not anywhere near enough, but I think the case against him is shaky. That's just my take. Him and WikiLeaks were kind of like an in-between link. They weren't necessarily themselves doing the getting the files, hacking the files, and all that. He was just like the in-between with WikiLeaks, right? It wasn't like he was the one hacking everyone and then dishing out the files. So, so I think it's pertinent to him being the one hacking or not. And he wasn't the one hacking. So, unless they're trying to be on the basis of more earlier stuff, but I don't. I think that was pertinent to that one other guy. What's his name? I forget his name. Darn it. Anyhow, Assange no longer has diplomatic asylum at the Ecuadorian embassy and was arrested in a public display last month after being found guilty of breaching his 2012 bail conditions. Assange was sentenced to 50 weeks prison time by a judge in the South Warwick Crown Court and is currently serving his sentence at Belmarsh Prison in the UK. So, like a year. Almost a year. Eva Marie Persson, Sweden's Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, stated that any issues that arise between the European arrest warrant and existing U.S. extradition requests will be handled by UK authorities. Persson stated, I am well aware of the fact that an extradition process is ongoing in the UK and that he could be extradited to the U.S. in the event of a conflict between a European arrest warrant and a request for extradition from the U.S. UK authorities will decide on the order of priority. So, the outcome of this process is impossible to predict. However, in my view, the Swedish case can proceed concurrently with the proceedings in the UK. Well, I don't know what the ideal outcome of this is. If he's brought forth to U.S., hopefully the white hats will be around him. He could be the big key player with this whole Russia ordeal. If he has proof in the pudding of the Seth Rich stuff, if he has proof, if he's essentially a top-notch witness of some sort, the stuff that's speculated about Seth Rich, then he needs to be surrounded by white hats. Good grief, the deep state cannot get a hold of this guy. But yeah, not 100% familiar on him. I'm fairly familiar with him. So I'll have to read more up on him later, but it's just pertinent to new news type stuff, what we got going on. So I heard one other source I had randomly seen said something like he was being tortured. I don't know about that. And I don't recall the source of that either. So just take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Not ideal. It just does not look good for Assange. It looks like Assange is being thrown under the bus. So we will see. I side with him, given the things I do know, and you know, why not ask the question, could these people who are accusing him, could it be like a Kavanaugh ordeal? I don't know one way or the other. I would side with Julian Assange. I don't know what evidence there is for the chick, but we just have to ask the question, could it be something faulty that was brought against him? A man's greatest weakness is a female, and certainly bad actors, if they wanted to set up Assange, would know that. The man's weakest spot is females, women. So I don't know if it was a setup or not, or if they were on a certain side, or if this is just a general thing, or if he's innocent or guilty. I don't know. To me, overall, it looks fishy. And I would generally side with Assange, given everything I know. So let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. We've rambled on way too long. So I'll see you up ahead. Feel free to subscribe. And we'll try and stay updated on Assange if I hear anything. So we also need to do that with Tommy Robinson. So